Monday of the 31st week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Philippians. Brothers and sisters, if there is any encouragement in Christ, any solace in love, any participation in the Spirit, any compassion and mercy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, with the same love, united in heart, thinking one thing. Do nothing out of selfishness or out of vainglory. Rather, humbly regard others as more important than yourselves, each looking out not for his own interests, but also everyone for those of others. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, In you, O Lord, I have found my peace. O Lord, my heart is not proud, nor are my eyes haughty. I busy not myself with great things, nor with things too sublime for me. In you, O Lord, I have found my peace. Nay, rather, I have stilled and quieted my soul like a weaned child. Like a weaned child on its mother's lap, so is my soul within me. In you, O Lord, I have found my peace. O Israel, hope in the Lord, both now and forever. In you, O Lord, I have found my peace.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. On a Sabbath, Jesus went to dine at the home of one of the leading Pharisees. He said to the host who invited him, When you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or sisters, or your relatives or your wealthy neighbors, in case they may invite you back and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading comes from Philippians 2, 1-4. In this passage, Paul speaks about the fact that we're called to live in virtue. So we should live compassion, mercy, joy, be of the same mind, same love. And that is especially seen in the way that we embrace humility. Humility is believing that the other is more important than ourselves. In our society, we very often think that we're number one and we have to take care of ourselves because no one else will. Well, this passage is very clear, and it will be completed with the hymn that Paul will say in the next verses, the hymn which shows the humility of Jesus, who emptied himself of his divinity. We have to do the same thing. We have to empty ourselves of our ego, of our selfishness, in order to serve the people of God. The Gospel is from Luke 14, 12-14. And this passage gives us an example of service, that Jesus tells the Pharisees that when they invite people to their banquets, they should invite the cripples, the lame, the blind, those who cannot pay them back. Notice these categories are what we would call the Anawim. The Anawim are the poor ones of Yahweh, and they're central to the Gospel of Luke because they're the ones to whom Jesus reaches out. They're the ones who, but for the grace of God, will not make it. So when Jesus comes along into their lives, they're ready to embrace him. The rich are self-satisfied. They don't need God. They think they're their own gods. And therefore, when Jesus comes into their life, they're not ready to embrace his message and his person. So when we hold banquets, when we have celebrations, we should invite those who are not the fun ones, not the ones that will entertain us, but rather the very ones who need our help and our love. And maybe these people will get in a fight at our party, will drink a little too much, will eat in a way that sort of embarrasses us. What importance is that, as long as we show them the love they most need? And may God bless us.